Hello and welcome to Sukkah Daf Nun Gimel, Sukkah 53. I just actually got some terrible news. My childhood friend, my best friend from childhood, I just found out that he passed away, MS, about a week ago on Shabbos. He was 39 like me. He was 3 weeks older than me, born April Fool's Day, April 1st. We were best friends growing up. He lived in America, in Far Rockaway, and I don't exactly know the details of his patiro, but I'm going to go visit after this. I'm going to Menachem Avel, to his parents who actually live here in Israel now. It's very sad for me to hear this news. His name is Yitzchak Levy. Yitzchak Ben, his mother's name is Jackie, I don't know her Hebrew name. His father's name is Neil. Yitzchak Ben Neil. I don't know his Hebrew name, but it's very sad. Baruch MS and the shiur will be neshama Yitzchak Levy. Let's get right to the shiur. I can't make jokes when something like this happens, you know. Even me, I like to joke around all the time, but there are times we don't joke around. Now we start Slichos, Rosh Hashanah's coming, and especially hear this terrible news now. I don't have to make jokes. Where it says, Nun Gimel and Aleph, Tan Rabbanan, Yesh Mehen Omrim Ashrei Yilotenu Shelo Baisha Ziknusenu. Elu Chasidim Anshe Maisa. It says that basically in Beis Shoeva, they used to dance. The Chasidim, the people that were pious people, or Anshe Maisa, they were extraordinary, exemplary midos. They used to dance, and they said, fortunate is to us that our youth didn't embarrass our old age. Sometimes people, when they get older, they do tshuva, but their youth, they do averos. Chadim Anshe Maisa, Sadikim Gemurim, they're Sadikim from their youth. The people that weren't so holy when they were younger, they said, fortunate is our older age that atoned for the sins that we did when we were younger. Elu Bali Tshuva, these are Bali Tshuva. Both of them said, Asher Mishaloch Shachata. Fortunate is the person who never sinned. And someone who did sin should do tshuva, and he'll be forgiven. Tanya Amru Lav Hillel Zaken. Said Hillel Zaken Shaya Sameach B'Simchas Beis Shoeva. When he was Sameach B'Simchas Beis Shoeva, Amar Kain, he would say the following: Imanikan Hakolkan. And if I'm here, everything's here. Anikan Mikan. And if I'm not here, then who is here? No one is here if I'm not here. It sounds like Pirkei Avos, where you say, Meinanili Mili, whatever. Meinanili Mili. That first you have to think about yourself. Farshim say here we're talking about that he's talking about it in the voice of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If I'm here in the Beis HaMikdash, then everything's here. The Beis HaMikdash. If the Beis HaMikdash is not here, nothing's here. To Klal Yisrael, I want to say, with Ben Zion, we're talking about, like the Pirkei Avos, that first you think about yourself. If I'm not here, and who is here? No one's going to value you more than yourself. So it all starts with you. You have to value yourself. And one of the main examples of valuing yourself is how you dance. If you know how to dance well, if you know how to enjoy yourself, show off the moves. So it's a sign that a person values himself and he values his own talents. Omer, he would say the following: the place that I love to go, my feet just end up bringing me there. You come to my house, I'll come to your house. That sounds like a fair relationship over here. If you want to have a relationship with me, you come to my house, I'll come to your house. You invite me over for a meal, I'll come to you for a meal. If you don't invite me for a meal, if you don't want to come to me for a meal, so I'm not going to your house, you're not going to me. Relationships have to be a two-way street. It's a reference to Hashem. Hashem is saying the same idea. Whenever you mention my name, I'll come to you and give you bracha if you mention my name. Also, Hillel saw a skull that was floating on the water. It's interesting, the skull was floating on the water. I mean, your skull weighs a lot more. It probably should submerge and drown in the water. On the account that you drowned somebody else, therefore you drowned. Those who drowned you, well, in the end they'll drown also. The feet of a person are the guarantors of a person. The place where he's destined to be called to, that Hashem wants him to be there, his legs will bring him there, whether he wants to or not. An example of this, there were two kushim. Kushim, Arshkel says, is a euphemism for an attractive person. They were standing in front of Shlomo. They were personally attending to him. El Yachrif, Achia, Bnei Shisha. So from the Shlomo Haba, they were the scribes of Shlomo. These two scribes. Yom Echad Chazi l'Malach HaMaves to Havaka Atziv. Shlomo saw the Malach HaMaves. Then we said apparently the Malach HaMaves appeared in the form of a person to him. Amalei Amayatzivas. Shlomo Melech said to the Malach HaMaves, "Why you said Amalei? Hashem wants me to kill these two Kuti people, the Asvi Hacha. They're sitting here, and I'm not able to kill them for whatever reason." So he saw they were in danger, Shlomo, so he wanted to save them. So he gave them over to the Shadim. The Shadim were in the control of Shlomo Melech in order to protect them, and they sent them to Luz, which is a city which has protection from the Malach HaMavis. Once they got to the gates of Luz, they didn't actually get into the city. That's the way they would have protection. They were killed. They died. The Malach killed them. Shlomo saw the next day the Malach Mavis that was laughing. It was very happy. Why he's so happy? Place where they wanted me to kill these people, I couldn't have killed them. Where if you didn't send them me, I wouldn't be able to kill them where they were by you. When you send them to Mechuzah to Luz, the gates of Luz, that's where I was supposed to kill them. Miyad Pasach Shlomo v'Amar Ragli Debarinish Inan Arvin Beilas Demisbai Taman Movilan Yasei. He says the legs of a person is not a way to get around this, or guarantors of a person. Wherever a person is destined to be killed or something to happen to him, his legs are going to automatically bring him there. Tanya Amru Allah Rav Shimon Gamliel Shesamech Simchas Beis Shoeva Enotel Shmona Avuko Shalor. When he was in Simchas Beis Shoeva, when he was dancing, he would take 8 torches of fire. He would throw one and catch one. They wouldn't touch each other. When he would bow down, he would press his 2 thumbs into the ground. He'd bow down and kiss the ground. He would actually do like a push-up sort of. He would bend down, kiss the ground, and he would do a push-up. No one could do such a thing. To only have to be supported by your 2 thumbs and to bend down and kiss the ground and pick yourself up like that, that's pretty unheard of. This is called Keda. Levi Achvi Keda Kamei the Rebbe. Levi did Keda in front of Rebbe to give him respect, and he became crippled, paralyzed, because the stress on his legs or his back was too much for him to handle. The Gemara says, was this what caused him to become paralyzed? A person should never threaten Hashem. Levi was an example of a person that sort of threatened Hashem. He saw the rain. The Gemara says the rains weren't coming. So he said to Hashem, "This is what you do to your children. They try to be good to you, and you deprive them of rain." Because he didn't speak respectfully towards Hashem, so therefore he became paralyzed. So Umanu Levi, this is Levi who did this. Now, in other words, both of these things, this Kida and the fact that he was Matiach Ram Klabimala, caused it to become paralyzed. Levi have a matai when he was well. Have a matai Kamei the Rebbe Tmani Sakini. He would sport. Archibald says he would dance in front of him with 8 knives. He would throw them up, juggle them. Shmuel Kamei Shmuel Malka B'Tmani Amazgi Chamra. Shmuel would juggle 8 wine glasses in front of Shmuel Malka. certain king. Abaye kamei de Rabba b'tmanaya bay. He would juggle 8 eggs. Amrullah arba bay. Some say it wasn't so many eggs, only 4 eggs. Tanya Amr Shumin Kananak Jarinu Smechim Simchas Beis Shoiva Lorinu Sheina Beinin. When we were happy during Simchas Beis Shoiva, we never even slept. Sounds like the Gemara says. Ketza Shari Shona, beginning of the morning. Tamid Shal Shachar. They brought the Tamid Shal Shachar. Misham L'Tfilah, and they went down in Shachris. Misham L'Karban Musaf, then they went to bring the Karban Musaf. Misham L'Tfilah Musaf, and they went down in Tfilah Musaf. Misham L'Beis HaMedrash, they went to learn in Beis Medrash. Misham L'Achila V'Shtiyah, then they went to have a big suda. Misham L'Tfilas Mincha, then they daven Mincha. Misham L'Tamid Shal Ben Arbayim, then they would go and bring the Karban of Tamid Shal Ben Arbayim. The rest of the night, they would engage in Simchas Beis Shoeva. Is true. Amar B'Yochanan Shua Shelo Isha and Shlosh Yom Malchus Sov Yoshan Alter. B'Yochanan says it's impossible. It's the person who says I'm going to take a Shua, I'm not going to sleep for 3 days, so it's a Shua Shav. It's impossible to not sleep for 3 days. You give him Malchus because he violated the Shua Shav, and he goes to sleep because the Shua is over. It wasn't Chal. The Shua Shav. It's interesting that I was reading some textbooks. I don't know if people actually have slept for more, have kept themselves up for more than 3 days, more than 72 hours in a row. Based on this premises, I don't understand the Gemara. Maybe the Gemara is talking about regular people. The Gemara Shuas are normal people. There are individuals, people can stay underwater. They have divers that can stay in the water for 20 minutes without breathing. Not everyone has the same laws of physics. A lot of nisim going on in this world we don't know about. So the Gemara says, so the Gemara says that really what it means to say, they did fall asleep, they dozed off, but we didn't taste either a good taste or a bad taste of sleep. Some people enjoy their sleep, some people don't enjoy their sleep. We didn't taste sleep, we didn't have dreams, let's say, because they would just doze off and they would wake up on each other's shoulders, they would lean on each other's shoulders and doze off. They did sleep. 15 steps. He said to one of the rabbinical scholars, the rabbinical students that was telling him, the Mishnah says that there were 15 steps going down from the Ezras Yisrael to the Ezras Nashim. So it's Keneged the 15 Shir Malos that David said. So why did he say 15 Shir Malos? Obviously it's connected to the 15 steps, but he didn't say it based on the 15 steps. So the student said to him, I already got it on the Shem Rabbi Yochanan. When David was excavating the Shisin, these cavities in the ground, apparently, even though there were cavities, they got filled up over time, so he was excavating them. Kapat the Homa, so he hit a fountain of water, and the water, and it wanted to swallow up the water, it wanted to flood the world. Amar David Chamesh Malos Vahuritan. He said Chamesh Malos in Tehillim, and he brought the water down. Yahaki Chamesh Malos Yordos mi by. Why did I say Malos? Malos is going up. He should have said Shiur Yordos, and Shiur that the water is going down, not that it's going up. Amar Lei Hola Krasa Milsa Haki Edmar. So he responded to him. Now that you're reminding me, this is what he actually said. Shashakar David she's in Kapat the Homa. Like we were saying before, he went to excavate cavities, the deep cavities in the world. Under the Mizbeach. Wanted to flood the world. Amar David David asked anyone there, is it mutter to write the Shem Hashem and on a piece of parchment and to throw it in the Tahom, throw it in this cavity in the world. And the water will settle, it won't flood the world. It'll be erased to Shem Hashem as a mutter. So no one's responded to him, no one knew an answer. Amar David called the other anyone who knows the answer to this question doesn't tell me, he should choke. Based on this, David was pressing them, so he learned the Kal V'chomer from his own logic. We know that by a sota, that Hashem commands you to throw a parchment with Hashem into the water, and it gets erased to make peace between a man and a wife, that to show the husband that the wife didn't cheat on him. So you're allowed to erase Hashem. In order to make peace for the whole world shouldn't flood. Certainly you're allowed to raise Hashem's name. Amalei Shari. He told David it's mutter. Cost of Shemach Asma. David promptly wrote Hashem's name on a piece of parchment. Meshadi L'Tahoma. He threw it into the cavity. V'nachis Tahoma Shitzer Al Begarmide. The water went down 16,000 amos. He saw that the water went down so far. It's better that the water should be close to the surface because it'll be more fertile land. It'll be the more moisture in the soil. The plants will grow better. He said 15 times, and he brought the water up 15,000 amos. So therefore the water was 1,000 amos from the surface of the ground. So we learn from this story, that between the surface of the earth and the subterranean waters is 1,000 amos. The Karena and port of Afkima in Bavel, they said we dig a little bit, not 1,000 amos, and water comes out. There was talking about in Bavel, which is Iraq, where they have the Euphrates River, the Pras, the water goes up. It's like a ladder, it goes up. So there, the water is much closer to the surface than regular places. Normally, the water is lower, 1,000 amos below the surface. The Mishnah says that the Kohanim would go to walk down from the top of the Ezra's Yisrael to the Ezra's Nash, and they would stop on the 10th step. What does it mean? They went down 5 steps and they stood on the 10th step. Well, then maybe they went down 10 steps. They got to the 5th step, and that's where they blew the shofar, blew the trumpets. We're not sure. From the fact that it says, the Mishnah says, they would say, we're not like our forefathers, that we're facing the Mara, we're facing the base of the Mikdash, the Heichal, and we're not like our forefathers who are Pneim Kedma. Their faces were towards the east. So the Gemara asks, Pneim Kedma, their faces to the east. They said that the forefathers, they faced towards the east, away from, and their backs were towards the Heichal Hashem. It's a repetition. Why? I can infer one from the other. Why does it add the word in the pasuk Heichal Hashem? Tells you another thakadish that not only they face away from the base of the Mikdash and bow down to the sun, they would actually pull down their pants and defecate towards the Heichal, which was a brazen act. Is this true? We're the Kainenu. It sounds like they're repeating it. It is true. They repeated that their eyes are towards Hashem. Anyone who says the word Shema Yisrael, you say the word Shema twice. Modim. It sounds like there's 2 Rishuyos. There's 2 gods. You're not supposed to say twice. Anu l'kal Kainenu. El Haki Hamri. What is what they really said? Hema Mishtachavim Kimava. Our forefathers bowed down to the east. Anu l'ka Mishtachavim Inenu l'ka Miyachalos. We're bowing down to Hashem, and our eyes are hoping expectantly towards the salvation of Hashem. 2 different things they're saying. They weren't repeating the same thing. Mishnah says, Ein pochsen me'esrim ba'achas kiyos v'mikdash. There was never less than 21 trumpet blasts in the Mikdash. There was never more than 48. A regular day there was 21 kiyos from Mikdash. 3 when they opened the gates in the morning. 9 accompanied Talmid Shal Shachar. 9 accompanied the Talmid Shal Ben Rabbaim. When they had a Korban Musaf, they would another 9 blasts for the Korban Musaf. By Erev Shabbos, on an Erev Shabbos, you Mosifin Sheish. They would also add 6 more. Shalosh Lahavdil Saham Malacha. When they Musaf Shabbos, they would actually 3 trumpet blasts in order to tell people to stop doing work. Shalosh Lahavdil Ben Kodesh L'Chol. And the last 3 was to just serve as a reminder that Shabbos is about to come in and to differentiate between Chol and Shabbos, which is Kadosh. Erev Shabbos, Shabbat Chag. When did they have 48? Let's say Friday during Sukkot. There's 48. What were the 48? 3 for the opening of the gates in the morning, like a regular day. Shalosh l'shara aliyah. When they went down to go from the Ezra's Yisrael to Ezra's Nashim on their way to Shoeva to gather the water, draw the water. So Shalosh l'shara aliyah. When they left the top of the Ezra's Yisrael, they blew 3 tkiyos and trua tkiya. Shalosh l'shara tachton. One when they got to the shara tachton, when they got to the edge of the Ezra's Nashim, end of it. 3 when they actually filled up the water. And 3 when they actually poured the water on the Mizbeach. 9 for the Tamish al Shachar, 9 for the Tamish ben Abraham, 9 for the Karam Musaf, which was brought on Chagam or Chol Moed Sukkah. Shalosh lahaftil as Am ben Amlach, or Shalosh lahavdil ben Kodesh l'Cholam. Because it was Erev Shabbos, you got these extra 6 kilos, 3 to separate between Kodesh l'Chol, and 3 to tell people to stop doing Malacha. Gemara. Masisin Deloka Rabbi Yehuda. Our Mishnah is not like Rabbi Yehuda the San. Yehuda Omer Apoches Lo Yivchos Misheva, and Mosif Lo Yosif Al Sheish Esrei. He considers, we're going to see, he considers that these 3, the Tkiya, Trua, Tkiya is 1 mitzvah. It's not 3 mitzvahs. Tkiya, Trua, Tkiya is, according to Rabbanan, is 3 mitzvahs. According to Yehuda, he bunches them together. Each set of Tkiya, Trua, Tkiya is 1 mitzvah. So therefore he says there was never less than 7, and there was never more than 16. If you times 7 times 3, it's 21. 16 times 3 is 40. It's the same thing. It's just whether you consider 1 mitzvah or not. The Maikamifli, what's the machlokas? Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda Savar, Tkiya Trua, Tkiya Achasi, it's 1 mitzvah. Rabbanan Savri, Tkiya Lechud, Trua Lechud. Tkiya is its own mitzvah, Trua is a mitzvah, and the second Tkiya is also a mitzvah. My time of the Rabbi Yehuda. Where does he learn from that it's 1 mitzvah? We'll see the nafkamina in a second. What's the practical difference in their opinions? My time of the Rabbi Yehuda. Amar Kro, Tkatim Trua. You should blow a Trua. The fact that it says Tkatim Trua calls the Trua a Tkiya. That when it calls, you should blow the trua, and it uses the word tkiya, so you see it's really the same thing. They say it says Tkatim Trua. Tkatim is referring to the tkiya, and Trua is referring to a trua. And then another pasuk afterwards says trua and then tkiya, so we learn there's tkiya afterwards. Rabbanan Maitamaya. What's the Rabbanan's reason? What's the reason that it's not considered 1 mitzvah? It says when they gather the nation, one of the mentionings in Parshas Baloscha, it says that they Moshe commanded Klal Yisrael to sound the trumpets a number of times when they moved encampments, when they one of the things when they gathered the people together to give a message to all of Klal Yisrael, Hakis Akal Tisku Lo Sariu, you should blow a tkiya, a long blast, Lo Tariu, not the short blast. If you'll say it's the same mitzvah, the Torah is going to tell you to do half a mitzvah, just do a tkiya, not a trua. They go together. So that's one of the nafkaminas, whether you can do it separately. The Gemara says, so that's not a regular case. Normally the machlokes here is talking about blowing trua, tkiya, trua by the avoda. Here we're talking about just to gather the people together. That's just a simon ba'alma to gather them together. You don't have to do a whole mitzvah. Rabbanan, what do they say? Simanahu, it was a simon, just to gather them together. Rahman Shavi mitzvah, because the Torah felt it was important to gather the people together through the use of trumpets, so therefore it becomes a mitzvah. That's what Hashem wanted to do. He wanted to do it that way, so it's a mitzvah. So you see a mitzvah could even be independently. Rav Kahana says that when you blow a tkiya, trua, tkiya, you shouldn't pause at all. Rashi says only 1 neshama, only a breath. You blow a tkiya, then you take 1 short breath, then you take a breath, then you blow a trua, 1 breath, and then a tkiya. So who says that? Come on, Rabbi Yehuda must be like Rabbi Yehuda holds in 1 mitzvah, and therefore you have to do it as quickly as possible. They're all 1 unit. You have to do tkiya, trua, tkiya right away. Gemara says pshita, of course. It's going to be Rabbi Yehuda. So the Gemara Nandalam Aleph Ma'od the same Afilu K'Rabbanan. You might tell me even it's like the Rabbanan. This could even Rav Kahana could even be according to the Rabbanan. Lafuke with Rabbi Yochanan. Rav Kahana is just coming to tell you not like the sheet of Rabbi Yochanan. Amar Shama Teisha Tkiyos Teisha Shos B'Yom Yatza. Yochanan holds you're supposed to hear on Rosh Hashanah. You're supposed to hear 9 blasts. Tkiya Trua Tkiya from Malchiyos, Shofros and Zichronos. 9 blasts, 3 for each. We're not short today, so we do 30, you do another 30, another 40, at 100. Really only need to do 9. Rabbi Yochanan says if you hear those 9 different sounds in 9 hours of the day, one, let's say when nates and one the next hour, whatever, you're Yotze. It doesn't have to be right after the other. So you might say Rav Kahana is coming to tell you not like Rabbi Yochanan. It has to be close together. It doesn't have to be not like Rabbi Yochanan. That can be so far apart, an hour away each blast, but it has to be pretty close together. Let's say, I don't know, 2 minutes, 3 minutes from each other, not an hour. But it really could be like the Rabbanan, that it's really considered 3 separate mitzvos. It doesn't have to be mamish one after another, just one breath away. So the Gemara says that we're saying that Rav Kahana was going according to Rabbi Yehuda, not according to the Rabbanan. The Gemara says maybe you say that Rav Kahana really does fit with the Rabbanan. Im kain mai velo klum. Rav Kahana, he says that you can't pause at all. He says at all sounds like it has to be just a breath, the shortest possible amount of time between the Tkiya Trua and the Trua and the Tkiya. So therefore only one breath, and Rabbanan would have to be, you can pause a little bit longer. So it has to be only according to Rabbi Yehuda. Rav Kahana said what he said. With that, we'll conclude today's shiur. I want to wish condolences to the Levy family, and he was left an almana. He left a wife with 4 young children. He should see only good in the future, the rest of the family, and Yitzchak, my dear friend, should have an aliyah neshama. He was a great person, Yitzchak. He always brought a smile to my face and to everybody else's face. I'll tell you one quick story. I was single at the time. I was in Shar Yashuv in Far Rockaway. He was married in Far Rockaway. And he saw me one morning. I was coming out of shul. You know, I didn't really have anyone to prepare food for me. You know, I didn't even have a kitchen where I was living. I was living in a 1-room apartment, just had a bedroom there. And he's a married guy. I think he had 2 kids at the time. He saw me walking out of the shul. It was 9:30 in the morning, let's say, after Megillah reading. He says to me, Fancy, what are you going to do for breakfast? What are you going to do? I said, I don't know, figure it out, whatever. He said, no. He takes me in his car. He drives me to his apartment. He had a very small apartment in the basement. You know, he wasn't a rich guy. He personally made me French toast for a morning. And then when I ate it, he asked me, you want more? He made me more French toast. He gave me shalach manos. And we basically spent the whole Purim day together. He was driving me around. We're going to different places. It seemed like he had all the time in the world for me, an old friend. You know, when we were younger, we were best friends, you know, until like 5th grade or whatever, until 6th grade. Then we grew apart over the years. We didn't see each other. We reconnected many years later in Shar Yashuv. Couldn't believe it that he actually made it to Shar Yashuv. He took a very different course in life than I did. But we ended up in the same place in Shar Yashuv many years later. We were roommates for a while. I went to his wedding, of course. Married a girl from Far Rockaway, Lawrence maybe. And I was there at his wedding, dancing away. He'll surely be missed. He brought a smile to everyone's face, and he was a great guy. We love you, Yitzchak, or at least neshama. Have a good day. Bye.